What's going on, 4th and 5? Josh Throne here again for another week of Getting Defensive with Matt Harris. Matt, good to see you again, brother. Always good seeing you. Look, last week,
Yeah,
absolutely heartbreaking
yeah,
going down to the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi, and not coming out with the win. We were so close. I know you saw the post-game coverage with DJ and I down there.
yeah.
Man, there was a lot of emotions flowing through Oxford at that time. But you go back and you watch film, and you still leave film study feeling disappointed. What was your take on the game?
Yeah, definitely disappointed, Josh. You and I were talking a little before this, and I mean, the first half, specifically the second quarter, was a track meet. I was proud of the way the guys didn't give up and just didn't get steamrolled through the whole game because that was looking like it was going to happen. The second half, they made some good adjustments. They only scored 10 points in the second half. Offense did a good job keeping us in the game in that second quarter without them just running away with it. So, I mean, very poor execution, very poor pre-snap alignment, preparation. It just seemed like it was a combination of coaching and execution. I think
Yeah.
that I saw a quote from Coach Pittman, and he said that in the first half they were trying to check all the things that Lane Kiffin was doing over there. They're making so many checks and checking this, and there was 3 seconds left on the freaking play clock, and guys aren't lined up. They're not positive in the play call. They have no confidence out there. You could see it. They were running slow. There was no communication. You see guys putting their hands up. I mean, it was a really frustrating game, and I've been in games like that, unfortunately, when you're just off, and we were off the majority of the second or the first half, and so it was just hard game to come back from and gain some confidence through.
Man, Matt, I was there at the game. Stadium was rocking.
Yeah,
It's a different atmosphere, honestly. Like I have to say, as an Arkansas Razorback guy, going to Ole Miss in that
yeah,
stadium, man, it was
special.
different. It was
Yeah,
different. It was special.
yeah,
Now,
cool
does that
place.
affect does that affect their preparedness? Does that affect communication on the field?
No.
Should that be a should that be a factor in them not playing up to up to their potential in that game? Because I don't think so. And there's some people in our comments that were talking about that.
Look, it is a thing. If you want to call it a factor, fine. That's for stats guys. But when you're
Right.
down there on the field, you're locked in. You're tunnel vision. You know the damn play call, Josh. You know the play call. You know your communication. You know their pre-snap reads, right? Down and distance, personnel. You have this body mechanic as a starter out there, and that's why you got to lean on the Larry Worst. You got to lean on the Dix Jr. and the Sorey Juniors and the Cam Balls and guys that have been there, because when 70,000 people are talking, much less yelling, it can get a little loud. But
Right.
that's why you're there, man. That's why you're there, to deafen that crowd. I've been on both sides of it when it's just a hush with 100,000 people, brother. It is a tip of the cap. See you next year, Auburn Tigers. Like, we've played in big games, Josh, and it's really upsetting when there ain't no crowd noise in the world that it should make you play that poorly. It was
Right.
it was a really bad first half, and you get into halftime and it's an awkward feeling in the locker room, and the relationships with the coaches and the players are off. And so, they cut the cord, they cut the crap from the first half. They stopped making all their checks, and they got back to Razorback football, and they played really damn good defense, pretty good. In the second half, you let up 10 points in the second half, you can win football games like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely
Uh,
sharpened things up.
they let it get away from them in the second quarter, and you could tell that they were not confident
Man,
pre-snap executing.
but we all watched the same game,
Yeah,
and I think I left that game having a whole different appreciation for number one, Taylon Green and what he was able to do. Number
Mhm.
two, our offensive line and how they really stepped up in Ole Miss
They
against
played
a
great.
very good Ole Miss
Yeah,
defensive line. But at the end of the day, it comes down to defense,
yeah.
because
I
if your
know.
team
I've been saying it,
if
Josh.
your team led by Bobby Petrino is going into Ole Miss, putting up 35 points, man, God forbid that fumble, because if we didn't have that
I
fumble, we
know.
could have probably put up 42. But at the end of the day, you have to have defense, and that's what we're going to be diving
Yeah.
into today. So I'd love to see your take on our defense and some of that game film you broke down. I know that you were working on some of that earlier, so let's go ahead and dive into some of that.
All right, cool. All right, so this is in the second quarter. 90% of my plays that I pulled were in here. 1st and 10, Josh, you got 11 personnel. They love having one back, one tight end. Dix did not have a great night. This is a first down play that we saw over and over and over again. Right now, you got 2 receivers on the outside, 2 on the back. You got man-to-man on the back. There's a rule in linebacker world, all right? Look, you're there to stop the run. If they don't hand that ball off, it's a pass. 9 times out of 10, you have the running back man-to-man. Basically, that's a very general rule, but specifically on this play, if that number 2 receiver in the slot there doesn't run an inside breaking route, that's your guy. That's your guy, Josh. Why are you running upfield when you should be out of it's just really bad angles. Right now, he knows that his defensive back, his corner, that nickel in the slot on the hash is the force guy. So whenever you have a force on the outside, that's your angle. That's a pretty good angle that you're drawing right there, because you're supposed to go inside out, right? Because your force guy, if he jumps outside of you, he's going to push him back into you. And that's when you get an ooh hit. But he jumps and goes horizontal down the line when his force was there. So he took a really bad angle. Bad pre-snap read. This is a good example of they're not playing with a lot of confidence. That should have been a 2-yard gain, and it turned it into 25. That's a killer.
Right, Matt. That's 1st and 10, and these are the these are the downs that kill you, is because you're going out there like, man, they're chopping up 13 yards on a 1st and 10,
right,
off of a bad angle. The right
bad
play
angle.
call,
Bad
angle.
Yes, bad angle. And you'll see it's bad angles. It's not getting lined up. It's missed tackles. Like on this play right here, you got another 1st and 10, Josh, and you got 3 studs, or at least 2. You got Cam Ball shooting the gap, missing a tackle. Sorry, missing a tackle. Bradley's missing a tackle. I mean, you guys, this guy is not Darren McFadden. I can tell you right now, he's a good running back, but Cam Ball comes through and gets him in the line behind the line of scrimmage here. First missed tackle, 2 yards deep. Boom, slows him down. Then you got, I think that's Sorey. Now, Sorey's locked up with an offensive lineman, and so was Cam Ball. But again, this is football. You've been there. Shed a block, make a tackle. You've been doing that drill since Pee Wee. And then you got Bradley Shaw, number 7. No excuse right here. This is what really makes me upset, is that running back's been ping-ponging. He should be down for a 2-yard gain. This is a huge deal, Josh. Again, this is 1st and 10. If you're getting 8 yards on 1st and 10, you're going to win a football game. If you're giving up 8 yards on 1st and 10, you're going to lose a football game. Poor tackling, bad angles, poor alignment. Let's show a little positive play. Just show you what football is supposed to look like. Little outside run here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys right there. Hats on the ball. Look at big Cam Ball and our guy Santi 8-8 in pursuit. This right here, this snap, Josh, this is why Arkansas fans, myself included, get really frustrated when you lose this game. We're 1 win away from being 3-0 and being ranked probably in the top 20. And in this game, we are a very similar team. Go look at the stat sheet, offensively and defensively. Time of possession, everything on paper, it looks like 2 the exact same teams.
Right.
We were 4 points away from winning this game.
It's 21-21 at this point in the game, man. When we look back at film, there's a lot of people who talked about hustle and effort. And you look at a 21-21 versus Ole Miss in Ole Miss. Where's the effort? This is the effort that you want to see right here, which is why we highlighted that. But we want to see this all game long.
So we've got it, Josh, right? So we need to take this with us, right? We're going to get into Memphis at the end of the show. Remember this snap, right? You got guys flying around, tapping the hat. Big Cam Balls running great pursuit angles. Your force is playing really strong. You got 1-yard gains. That's football, and you can do it every damn time. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for this right here either. Look at the play clock, Josh. There's 3 seconds left on the play clock, and we got Jordan Young running across the dang formation, not knowing where he's supposed to get lined up. I saw a quote from Coach Pittman here, and they said, hey, in the first half, we were terrible on defense, mainly because we couldn't get lined up. We were trying to do too many things. We were trying to check every time Lane Kiffin made a check, and it was sending our guys out of position like this. So
look at the ball, Matt. Look at the ball right now. It's snapped. Here he is, still not in position.
He's crossing the face right now, the center. Josh, I can tell you right now, in this league, you can't do that. You cannot be that out of position. Right now, he's supposed to be on the hash mark over the number 2 receiver. Watch where he actually ends up making this tackle.
Well, what I got to ask you right here is
Oh,
why? Why, if we've studied film, we know what Lane Kiffin's going to do. How is he catching us off guard? Because this isn't the only play. This is just a play that we're highlighting in this quick video. But how? Why was that a consistent theme?
yeah,
If we've seen it, we probably coached it.
yeah.
Why are we lagging behind? What's going on to cause this?
Yeah, so again, to reference that Coach Pittman quote, it was poor coaching and execution in the first half as far as not play call, but they were trying to do too much. Instead of playing Razorback football, you hear it all the time. This is why cliches are awesome and they exist in sports, right? Don't play their game, play your game.
Hmm.
We were trying to get too cute, Josh, and make too many checks as they were making their checks. Instead of just getting lined up and playing football like you know how to dang do,
Right.
You put Jordan Young out of position. I feel bad for the guy, but look at this. He makes the play after the first down. That's Simmons, by the way, the backup then quarterback who was the starting quarterback. He only had 1 foot. This
Right.
is 3rd and 8. Stop him right here. They kick a field goal, completely different ball game.
Right.
So it's really frustrating because all those plays, Josh, add up in a loss. And when they're
Mhm.
watching this film, I guarantee you these coaches are saying, "Hey, why the hell were you not lined up?" And he's like, "Coach, I got the play call 4 seconds before the snap." So
Mm,
it's really difficult to say if it's coaching or execution. It's always a combination of both. I just want to be fair there because
right.
I'm not in those locker rooms. I'm not in those meeting rooms. But I can tell you when that stuff happens, you're trying to do too much. Get lined up and play football. Everyone be on the same page and have good communication, and good stuff happens. I mean,
Let's
I
take a
tell
look.
you what, Ole Miss found their starting quarterback. Man, that guy
Yeah,
sent
we were and
enter the
Matt,
transfer
let me
portal
pause
there.
this for a second because we were talking about that earlier.
That
You
guy,
know,
let me tell you, Razorback fans, I didn't want to admit it before the game, but I started hearing a little bit about this Chambliss kid and how he was a gamer and he runs a 4.4 and he's a national champion
yeah,
at the D2 level. And you get in there, you're like, oh my God, this guy can play football.
and I'll
We
say
would have
this,
smoked them if Simmons played.
once we figured out that Simmons was most likely not playing,
Yeah.
quickly tried to do a deep dive in some of his film, his D2 film where he's playing teams
Boy,
like
quit.
Harding University and whatnot.
Yeah.
It couldn't hardly find anything. Couldn't find anything on YouTube. Tried Huddle. Couldn't find anything on Huddle. Found something on some website I can't even remember the name of. And let me tell you this: he didn't look in the film like he looked on when he was playing against the
Game
Arkansas
on.
Razorbacks this past weekend. Clearly, he's taken some big steps forward. Now, has he always been fast? Sure, I'll say he's always been fast. But in the game film that I saw, his throwing ability was
Yeah.
not what we saw. And I'm still a little bit hesitant to give him all that much credit in his passing game because it seemed to me like our DBs were either A, confused or B, just getting out muscled and outmanned in one on one situations quite often. So I don't know. Can he continue to do that throughout the rest of the SEC? We'll see. But he did it against us, and that's why
Yeah.
we're watching this. So I'll let you go forward with this
Yeah.
other play.
Yeah, this is a great example of you don't need a good quarterback because we just foobarred this thing from the start. Whenever this number 1 goes in motion, it alerts me to Kanai Walker,
Mhm.
our corner down here at the bottom. If he was going to run with him, it would show me that it was man to man. The fact that he stops, it at least alerts me that it's potentially a zone. Then you get the corner blitz up there from Julian Neal. Your safety's one on one
Mhm.
with that receiver. You can see him just locked in right now.
Yeah.
Um, this is a goal line, so you're not really backpedaling and you're not doing a whole lot of passing off, but that safety should have ran with him a little bit. And my guy 13, I like Kanai Walker. I think he's a good player. I'm glad he's okay. That was a scary moment in the game. But he's completely lost and out of position here. This is another example of, is this coaching or execution? I think this was a miscue on 1-3's fault here because this is a trick play, Josh.
Mhm.
If you notice here that the guy you're highlighting right now, that's the guy that the ball was supposed to go to. In the
Ah.
future, if they run this again, that's what's going to happen. That guy is an eligible receiver. So what they did is they bring the right tackle over to the left side of the ball. It's an off balance set. It's an
Mhm.
overload to the left. You see our defensive line and our linebackers. Everyone's kind of looking. That's heavy on that left side. And this guy does a little down block and he sneaks away. Number 2 up top, Wallace. Um, he is all intents and purposes. Yeah, that guy right there is a second tackle. You got
Mhm.
center, guard, tackle, tight end. That's an off balance set. That's to shift the D line over. That's to confuse the linebackers and your defensive backs. And you get this right here with an undisciplined defense. We were operating with zero confidence. Larry Worth, he's passing that guy off. He's supposed to jump that guy. You see the linebackers are saying, oh, shoot. Well, there's a second guy open in the end zone. Don't worry about him.
Right.
Quarterback gets to take his pick. This is a really, really bad play. It's a zone, man. It's a zone. Turn your body to the side, and if someone's coming to you, check him.
Right. So Matt, we're looking at this guy right here
Right
and
now.
this linebacker. Both these guys
Yes.
should be
Check.
playing much further to the left side of the field and
No
following that
question.
zone.
Stop chasing. Turn your body completely pointed to the side, I guess like this way, right? Point it this way. And if you see a guy coming at you and you're in a zone, that's going to be your man, especially in red zone. Get on him. Like it's really not hard. Red zone defense, I loved it because it's really hard for offenses to get this wide open in the red zone unless you have a complete mental bust. And we had two.
So our man right here, he should have been all the way over here.
No question. Connie Walker sinks underneath that with the safety trailing at worst case. But that's what the quarterback was supposed to be reading. He was going to say, hey, if that corner sinks, hit the underneath route. If the corner doesn't sink, those were his options. He was so wide open. He was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to throw it to you because no one's on you either. So it was comically bad, that snap was.
What do you do in a situation? You're the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Your team. And by the way, they put in what was the starting quarterback. They put in Austin Simmons for that play.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you saying to your defense on the sideline to get them right after that?
I would, jump down them for sure. But I would say, hey, it's the second quarter, guys. Get that out of your system, right? We know how to play football here. You've got to get lined up. You've got to have great anticipation, and you've got to fly around the ball. There was no confidence whatsoever. I would instill confidence. You never want to get down there and start berating these guys and telling them how bad they're doing and you're not going to play. You got a long game. We came back and almost dang near won this game. So, it's not just like sugarcoat everything, but you need to figure out. I remember having really a huge difference between high school ball and anything else. When you get up there, like the coaches are looking to you as a player, the leader on the defense especially, to say, hey, what's going on out there? I know that we can see this thing. We're watching the same game, but you're on the field. Like, what's going on? I don't know if those coaches and players just weren't having good sideline communication because you're making adjustments every time you come off the field. It's not just halftime. It's not just timeouts. It's every 30 seconds. And those players are talking to those coaches. It's like, coach, man, they're doing a bunch of crossing routes. Man, they're doing, they're pulling the guard. They're flaring the back out. They're doing something to get me out of leverage. And the coach then can make an adjustment. So I just don't know if they're communicating, I don't know if their communication was good on Saturday because they're a good defense. And it didn't show like it on Saturday, but that second half, they played good football. So it tells me that you're able and you're capable. Consistency is a sign of a champion, Josh. Consistency. Do your job and do it full speed. You hear it all the time. And that's what they didn't do on Saturday.
Well, we're about to see some more. Let's take a look at the first and 10 second quarter because
Again, man, it looks like the exact same play that we've already been over. Josh, it's man-to-man on the back. There's two receivers up top. He's starting to flare. The quarterback's showing that he's throwing there now. You're standing flat-footed.
Yeah.
Why? Go. Did we already run this play? Honestly,
no, this is the.
It looks like the exact same play.
It's different, right? It's a different play, but same situation. So that tells me Lane Kiffin saw this in some of our film, right?
Yes.
He saw this. He knew this. And basic play, get the ball to your running back in space. Let these big wide receivers be more athletic and block your DBs and let a guy go make a play. But you're not calling this play unless you saw this in film and you saw that we have a problem getting to the running back quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Coaching.
Leverage. We got out leveraged a lot, even in the Arkansas State game. Well, I say a lot. We got out leveraged a couple of times on third downs, right? There was a couple of big third downs in Arkansas State where they were really productive because of plays like this. And if Arkansas State can do it, Ole Miss can do it better. I mean, Bradley Shaw, you got to go right now. Look at the slot receiver and the slot defensive back. They make contact, and that defensive back pushes him back 3 yards. Let's see. When the tape goes, Josh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. See that? See what I mean? The
Yeah.
defensive back, he got widened out a little bit, but at least he was pushing his guy upfield. He wasn't getting berated. Like,
Right.
you have a free hit as a linebacker to go inside out, and you can make contact at the line of scrimmage. Like, you see how his angle right there? Look how flat it is. He
Right.
needs to be aiming right now at the Ole Miss, the butt of that receiver, and go throw your body out there.
Right.
Because you got guys on the outside of you, and you got guys right above you with the safety. I mean, linebackers, dude, I played linebacker for years. I played JV as a sophomore. I didn't play corner or defensive back till I was a junior in high school because I played linebacker, if you can believe it. I loved to put my nose in there.
Right.
And I know what these pursuit angles are like. And, man, when you're not the force man and you can just go hot to trot on that ball, you can miss tackles if you come in there just with a bad attitude. And again, this is a sign for me that they weren't fired up. They weren't ready pre-snap. Their reads weren't.
I agree. I mean, this is when I watch this play, Grant made a point, I believe, in our Monday show where he was talking about, effort, maybe playing in that big stadium or something like that. Kind of got these guys out of their rhythm. But when I see this play, I actually get more on board with that because it's almost like he's just frozen the moment. He's not playing football. He's just overthinking.
Yes. When you're overthinking, your 40 goes from a 4.4 to a 4.6. Like you are running with some, and there's a couple of plays here, Josh. We're about to end this, I think, but I won't call out any defensive backs, but Reggie Herring, who was our defensive coordinator at Arkansas, and we used to have to do up downs for every loaf that we got, even in practice. So you ask, hey, Matt, what can we do? I can tell you what Reggie Herring would do. In practice, they would watch the film in practice, and they would count the loads in practice. You get in your stretch lines at the end of the practice. At the very end, you're dog tired. Offense is walking off the field. Defense is getting their feet hot. And the person who – they went down line by line, Josh, four rows deep. And you'd have to run up to the very front of the stretch line with Coach Herring, and he'd say, all right, Harris, you had 4 loafs. And you'd have to announce to the team, true story. People don't know this. You'd have to run in place. You say, my name's Matt Harris. I let the team down 4 times. And you like a military. And they blow the whistle 4 times. You do 4 up down. You go line back on and then Kevin Thornton would come. Hey, my name's Kevin Thornton. I let the team down 5 times. And we'd have guys that would say, hey, I let the team down 15 times. And man, let me tell you, in that locker room after practice, the leaders of that defense would go over to that guy that had 15 loafs and say, hey, don't you ever do it again. If you do that again, I'm going to, you'd get that. And that's how you hold a defense accountable. Yeah. If you're watching film and guys are taking bad angles and they're not running to the ball, I saw one guy, not once, but twice, get passed by another defender.
Right.
Lit me up, dude. And I'm glad it's not on here because I didn't want to light him up. But, man, I was not happy with our defensive backs' effort. I was not happy with our linebackers' leverage. When you got your D-line missing tackles, when you're making contact 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, Josh, that's how you lose every football game you play. You'll lose to Memphis next week if you play like this.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
To end this thing off, this is another example. Well, this is a new example. This is where your football IQ has to come in. So you got trips right here. You're in man-to-man. You got no safety help. Everyone's locked in. Look at all the defensive backs. I like this alignment. I like this call. It's 3rd and goal on the 6-yard line. We're in this football game. It's the 3rd quarter. Man, we're playing football. I've lost 0 confidence at this point in the game, whether I'm watching it or playing it. We're playing football. Don't be scared. Play. The number 2 receiver, he does not run a route. He runs a pick play, which is cheating, by the way. I get all the offensive people here like, let's score punts. Well, here we go. This is an illegal play. Before the ball is in the air, he is blocking Kenai Walker off the snap. But Shakur Smalls, look where your eyes are, son. Your receiver is not running a route. You know that instantly. What is he doing? He's setting a screen. If he just runs downhill and acts as if his guy's going to get the ball, he's going to pick 6 this ball. Just go straight downhill. Watch it. If you run the play, instead of hesitating, if he runs straight downhill, Josh, he's either going to make a huge hit on number one or he's going to pick the ball. But instead, look at him, he's in the end zone and the ball's gone. He's late. But that guy right there has no experience. Shakur,
Right.
that was the first time I've ever seen him in a game all year. And he's in the red zone on 3rd and 6 in a really crucial time in the game. So again, coaches, what are y'all doing? I saw Wooden in there a lot. I saw Smalls in there. I'm like, Miguel Mitchell, he was a starter, then they pulled him, and now it's like we're looking for the right mixture and the right pieces of our defensive backs. And bad game to experiment on. But at the same time, Josh, heck, we were, 24 yards away from winning that football game in the fourth quarter with a minute and a half left. So I'm encouraged on one hand. It's almost like when I watch a football game in the first half and we play so poorly and we're still in the game, I'm like, hey, honestly, I think we're going to win this game because you can only go up from here. You can only make more adjustments. Or you can get railroaded and do the same thing in the first half. But that's why I was liking what I saw in the second half. You let up 10 points. We played identical games. Identical. The number 17 team in the country, look at the stat sheet. We played the exact same. We have that ability, and that's where my frustration comes in.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's coaching, execution, loafs, leverage, not getting lined up. Fix it and go play football like we have been. Man, it is. I'm very frustrated at that game. We should have won that game, hands down, whatever quarterback was out there. But too many people at different levels were missing tackles, getting out leveraged, not getting lined up, not flying around. Just that's defense, right? It starts with that, and there was none of that out there on Saturday.
Right. Matt, at the end of the day, it comes down to the W. And we were so close, one fumble away from potentially putting a touchdown in and winning. And you know what? Had we had some field goals made, we would have already have been tied up, and we would just be looking to make a field goal and get in field goal range. But that's what one fumble can do. And that's why, in our post-game coverage, I was talking a lot about, look, when I was listening to Kevin Kelly down in Little Rock, he was talking about earlier in week 1 and week 2, he was talking about our defensive players playing more aggressive, trying to play for the turnover. And he said, go watch other SEC teams. That's what they do, and they do it in big moments.
Right.
And then here we are in the first SEC game, and Ole Miss
makes a play.
They know they've got them going down, but they're going for the ball because they know if we can get the ball, it's over. Want to see that type of aggression out of our defense. But going into Memphis, I said earlier, it's kind of like Ole Miss's little brother. They like that zone read. They run the RPO. They got a quarterback that can run as well. That can give us fits. He's not a bad passer. Wide receiver talent, not going to be what we see at Ole Miss. But what do you want to see out of our defense to make sure we go into Ole Miss, we handle business, and we get back to Notre Dame back in Fayetteville?
Man, accountability, energy, and effort. Control the things that you can control. I want to see guys swarming around the ball. This is a team that we absolutely should beat, but they're 3-0 for a reason.
Yeah.
I dare you to go down to the Liberty Bowl and lose that game and go 2-2 on the year, and your second loss beat Memphis. I'd love to see T. Will get back to the basics and let these dogs off the leash and say, y'all go play fast. Give me 3 play calls all game, coach. Don't get cute. Just line them up and cover 3 man or cover 4 and let them get real aggressive. Let your D-line off, blitz. I don't care, but keep it simple and let your guys get their confidence back this week, because last week it shook them, and you could tell that in the second half it's hard to make these game-winning plays, Josh, when the second half you're thinking, oh my gosh, we didn't play very well. We have to get back to neutral. You're not thinking, oh man, I'm in the zone right now. I can make a play. This ball's coming my way, and I'm going to make it. Like I've got that feeling. They had the opposite feeling. I want those guys to start running fast again before we start real big league play. Ole Miss was a good test. We played a decent football game. In years past, it was almost like the Cowboys. They won on Sunday because they didn't quit, and they made a 64-yard field goal. I mean, that's modern football. People are going to score 30 points in a quarter, and you're going to have to rebound. And Arkansas did that in the second half. But that fumble killed us, obviously. Both offenses, Ole Miss and Arkansas, both stalemated out, and it just wasn't a game that we finished offensively or defensively, for that matter. I know we stopped them to give that ball back before the fumble, but it was too much too soon by then. Taylon Green, caps off to him. I mean, he played a great game, but at the same time, it's complimentary football. When your offense scores 21 points in the second quarter and then none in the third, it's like, oh man, this is like a whole new game. So, getting our confidence level back up, Josh, and throwing all of that commentary that Josh Throneberry and Matt Harris are talking all that trash. I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
I would hear that stuff, and
Right.
you'd say that the news and the message boards didn't affect you, but that's bullshit. It would, and
Yeah.
use it to piss you off, like Bobby Boucher. Let it be your tackling fuel, and go up there and dump truck somebody and let the world know about it. I mean, we got the talent. We showed a couple of plays in that game where we were swarming to the ball. We had great leverage, great pursuit by everybody at every level. That's winning football, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about defense, man. It's like a thing of art, right? I mean, the whole game of football is a chess match, and defense is very involved. And if
Mhm.
your guys aren't locked in and white knuckled all game, and you're thinking too much, man, that's what happened. That right there, they were thinking too much, Josh. I've been in that game in that stadium. We had a really poor game my senior
Mhm.
year in that same stadium. We tried to do some tricky offense or defense to cover Dexter McCluster, and it was an install that we never ran, and we scrapped it at halftime. I remember. I mean, it was a terrible game, and that guy's playing on Sundays because he's incredible. But when you're thinking too much and you're not playing with a lot of tenacity, uh, it shows. And it shows in missed tackles. It shows in that leverage like that.
Well, we're going to Memphis, so defense is going to have to
Man,
do tune up, and maybe that tune up is getting back to the basics, like Matt Harris is saying. We
yeah.
will see, because we'll be in Memphis this weekend. Tomorrow, we will be dropping a scouting report, everything you need to know about Memphis. I know that probably most of you haven't looked into Memphis all season long, so we're going to be giving you a little bit of what you need to know going into the game, some of the dangerous athletes that are on that team, and the
Yeah.
scheme, and everything you're going to need to know to be prepared to watch the Arkansas versus Memphis game this weekend. So that will be coming out tomorrow at 7:30. DJ and I will be going live pregame as well with Matt, with Grant Cook tuning in as well for our pregame show 2 hours prior to the game. So you guys make sure you tune into that. And again, you know what? Thanks to Oaklawn Sports for sponsoring our show. Absolutely the best sponsor. If you haven't downloaded the Oaklawn Sports app, I encourage you to do so. One of the best sports betting apps that out there, way better than the competitors. I'll just say that, Matt. So we appreciate you watching. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, figure out ways to help us, support us, because we are growing fast, and we look forward to bringing you more content throughout this football season. So
Yeah.
again, tomorrow 7:30 scouting report, and then DJ and I 2 hours before the show. We thank you so much for watching 4th and 5. Matt, thank you so much, and we're out.